Yeah, the storm is past, eh? What is happening, folks? Welcome back. Time to do some stuff to the wagon. Really quickly, station wagons have an interesting weight distribution. They are heavier in the rear. So apparently they're like 53 rear, 47 front. And so I've noticed a few times while playing around, maybe I'll include a clip, but like the back end of this car really grips up quickly and ends up pushing the front end. On top of that, today I finally received my BC shocks and rear lower mounts. In order to get to the upper portion of the shock mount, I've got to take apart the interior. 2 birds, 1 stone today. And then hopefully, with what we have, we'll be able to build the shocks, install them, and rectify one incredibly annoying part of this car right now, which is the rear shock mount is rattling, the shocks are blown, blah, blah, blah. They've been on the car for like 7 years. Let's go. Oh boy. Big sads. Kind of not super excited about this, but it's got to be done. So yeah, let's get to it. Always very sad to do this. We'll see what we could do to clean up more of this jank around here, but I do have access to the shock tops. Let's see if I can get a guess as to what some of this stuff weighs. Yeah, I'd say there's 30 pounds there, another 10 or so here. Obviously a full-size spare wasn't helping, but I like having that. Well, that's it for that portion of it. I might go through, these seem to be pretty heavy, so probably gonna have to go through and remove those. Let's grab the shocks and get this car jacked up and see if we can just get that portion of this job taken care of. All right, so as you can see, I've got the car all jacked up and I was ready to get after installing my new BC, where is this shit? Rear shocks and lower mounts. However, it looks like I've run into a little bit of an issue. It looks like the entire shaft design is sort of different, and come over here, basically I got the bright idea to just grab the adjustment knob and shove it in there and see, and then you'll notice obviously that it's not going to work. The nut is obviously going to be different. The whole shock top is going to be different. Yeah, so that's on hold. I haven't taken apart any of the actual rear suspension yet, so I'm just going to slap the wheels on it, take the car off the jacks. Either way, looks like we got a lot of weight out of the back end of the car, which is ultimately going to be a good thing. Probably lost, I don't know, probably 60 pounds total, including the spare tire, which was a full-size spare, style 32, which is a pretty heavy wheel. So that's all good stuff. And yeah, come back to this video when I get the parts to finish these shocks. Little side note, I noticed that the shocks, if I'd have bought the entire assembly, it'd have cost me $362 per side. Buying these bits and pieces like this has actually ended up costing less than the 362. It's going to end up costing me about 520 bucks total. Note to self, piece your rear shock together from BC, get a discount. Yeah. All right, finally received the parts from BC that I needed. This was basically it. Obviously we needed the lock collars that are going to go with that, because this shock ended up being a larger diameter than the previous shocks. The upper mount, they actually came in with the upper nut and one of the washers. I'm going to need a washer on either side of this, so hopefully the stuff from the previous coilover kit will work. So yeah, I've already got the car all jacked up and the wheels popped off, so let's just get right smack into it. Alright, time to bust these off. I've already loosened this one up just to save myself the embarrassment of my puny ass little gun not doing it. That'll be a washer. I think I'll use it. I think it'll work. These things were actually in surprisingly good shape, this portion of it. Basically, as you can see, this shock had just completely blown, and then the lower mounts were completely shot. So they've been rattling around and moving in the car, making a ton of extra noise. There goes that. And that. I think I'm also going to try and use these bump stops if I get lucky enough to use them. Alright, next one. Disassembled. This one wasn't in as bad a shape, but you see that the mount was just toast. Alright. Let's check out some of the differences between the BC and the other guy. I would say right off the bat, here, let me pull this boot off. Right off the bat, some of the difference I notice is shock stroke is going to be way up on the BCs, right? I'm gaining probably close to an inch, inch and a half. Obviously, the shock diameter is, this whole body is just smaller. And the BC stuff is much bigger. So just a real quick shout out to the Rev 9 Hyper Street 2 coilovers. They were 32-way adjustable. They've been on the car for a really long time, 5, 6, 7 years. I know that I've put about 75,000 miles on this car since I owned it, so shout out to them. I mean, it's a decent product for sure. What drew me to them, it was, you know, it was a bargain. It was also a full body shock, 32-way adjustable, and it came with spring rates that I liked for my wagon on the street. So yeah, absolutely nothing bad to say about them. So I just want to give that shout out real quick. Let's get these things built. First things first, I like to throw a little bit of anti-seize on the threaded portions. Hopefully they won't be stuck if I ever get in the mood or in the position where I need to make some adjustments down the road. Throwing on this locking ring. Mess. Right. Sorry, some stuff went off. Should we get started? All right. I'll throw on these bump stops. They look a little small, but should be all good in the hood. Throw this on the bottom there. I don't think I'm getting this. There you go. Throw that on the bottom. Throw this bad boy on top. And alright, for some reason a 9/16 fit better than anything else. But since I don't really have any 9/16 spark plug socket, because I'm ghetto. Well, whatever. That looks fairly built. Now I know I don't have a shock boot because I pieced together my coilovers, but I don't really care. Never really cared much for boots of any sort. Cowboy boots, boots, shifter boots, steering boots. I don't care for boots. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we got ourselves some BCs. I adjusted these basically to the same length as these. I couldn't find my coilover wrenches, so fuck if I know. They probably weren't gonna work anyway. Let me just stick them in and see what happens. shocks are back on. I did previously adjust the shocks to right smack in the middle, 15. Now, my car currently has 10K springs in the rear, and the BCs that, you know, these BCs for E46s normally come with either 12 or 14K springs. So I don't know if that's going to have like a major effect. I think it's probably going to end up being a positive thing for me, for my situation. I don't feel like it's so far out of spec, but I think there's going to be more than enough valving to deal with whatever's going on with the back, and it might actually allow me to really kind of stiffen it up and really knock a bunch of grip out of the back, because this car doesn't make any power, seems to make plenty of traction. Now we're gonna go for a quick test drive and see how it feels. Hopefully, at the very least, that rattling that was always in the back is kind of gone. Not the diff rattling, that's a whole different issue, but the actual shock bouncing around and moving, because these mounts were absolutely demolished. Let's go. So right away, I kind of feel like it's a lot better already. Look, this is not comparing brand new BCs versus brand new like Rev 9 coilovers. So like, let's just get that out of the way. As I said before, they were really good. I was always very pleased with them. So. Yeah, all in all, this feels really good right now though. Some of that rattling is definitely gone. Something like that, I would have heard it. So far, so good. Oh yeah. So I don't know if this is anything that anybody will be able to tell on camera, but now the front end feels way softer in comparison than the rear. The rear seems to stay much flatter. Let's see how this feels. Oh yeah. Dude, these shocks soak up bumps really, really well. And so far, so good. There's always cops up here, so I can't really play around here anymore, it seems like. The back end definitely squats less, so that's also a major plus. Again, I'm gonna end up having to try and dial out some of the grip that this car actually makes right now, so, or was making, and so this is all like positive stuff for me. Car makes no power right now, and yeah, that's what we gotta do. is completed. The car felt much better with the BCs behind it. I'll see you guys next time, and I'll tell you guys the story what happens.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yeah, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way.